Come on in. Good Grand Rising, Grand Rising. What's going on? Hope you guys don't mind if I eat my breakfast. I wanted to come on live and do a little bit of lecture as well as answer some of the questions that you guys may have. But the title of this live is God Power for Your Life. I really wanted to get into that and see what questions you guys had about that. Grand Rising, what's up, Marie? How you doing? Jeff Martin, what's up? Shell, TJ, what's going on? Tony Yeezers, what's up? Blessed to see another year. Absolutely. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. We're blessed to be in another year, to see another year. But some of the things I'm going to be talking about is how do you take advantage of this year? Like, a lot of us are just happy to be in the new year, right? It's not saying anyone in particular, but for the majority of us, because we recognize that life is hard, right? So when you play hard, when you play the hand that life dealt you, you also have to play a well-balanced life. You have to foresee life in the hand that it dealt you, right? To be able to look back in the past, to see where you come from, not to look back in the past and stay in the past, but to look back in the past to see how blessed you are to reach another year. Now that you're in the present moment of that year, how to take advantage of the year by being able to see what's ahead of you. A lot of us, we just like to live from day to day. Oh, I'm glad I made it this day. This day is a blessed day that the Lord has made because I am alive and well. Okay, so what about tomorrow? What about next week? What about 3 months from now? What about 6 months from now? See, we're so caught up into what's going on inside of the world, the news, what the news is saying, what CNN is saying, what ESPN is saying about your favorite sport, about your favorite team, about your favorite players, right? What the news is saying about vegetation, about life, about how cold it is in other regions, right? They never report on what's going on in other countries and the rest of the world. They only want you to focus and pay attention on what's going on inside your local city, state. Did you notice that? They're not giving you a worldview and a span where you can scope to see what's going on in your current county, city, state versus what's going on in other states versus what's going on in other provinces, countries, so on and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because they do not want you to pay attention to the things outside of your county, your city, your state. Why is that? Because they want you to focus on the negativity that's going on, right? They don't want you to know that in other cities and states, people are doing very well, just as you may be doing very well in your life, right? They don't want you to see that things are transitioning. They don't want you to see that the maps that they design isn't actually how it's that the landmass is sectioned out, meaning that where they say Africa is, Africa isn't. Where they say the Caribbeans are, the Caribbeans, like the landmass. So you're so focused on what you see right in front of you that you can't scan the whole globe to see what's beyond you, to see in comparison to how they're trying to deliver the news to you, to what you're seeing. And that's why it's so important that you take serious your life and preparing not just for today, but preparing yourself and your life and your family, your outlook for the next 3 months, 6 months, year, 3 years. Right? There are so many things that's taking place on this planet. And within the dimensions within this planet, we're not talking about outside of this planet. We're talking about the dimensions inside the planet. Because there's actually dimensions within the planet that you can get to other worlds. But that they're not going to report and they're not going to tell you. Right? They've went into certain places that they weren't supposed to and have opened up portals. They open up vortexes, are actually, they open every 10 years. That started in 1943. Right? So every 10 years the portal is open. But they've opened up stargates and actual portals by going into certain sacred sites that they weren't supposed to go in. They're waking up the titans that were asleep. That's about to start causing calamities and situations on this planet that we need to be aware of. And that's what I wanted to bring to the forefront today. How are you preparing yourself, right? It is definitely a great day to live in, right? Because your generations and ancestors 30, 40 years, even 50 years, 100 years ago would relish. They would relish in the moment to be in this day and time that we're living in. You know what I'm saying? Those generations that have transitioned, right? To be able to feel the energy, to be able to feel, when we projected ourselves here, to be able to have that experience, to be able to go through and see how we are a part of this equation and helping to change the world, helping to change the energy of this planet. So Grand Rising, if I haven't said that since some of you guys got on, I just wanted to recognize some of the people that got on. Egyptian Empress, how you doing? Grand Rising. Grand Rising to Marie, I already spoke with her. Grand Rising to Velvenet. Brother Ed, what's going on? Dim Cherry, Grandmother, Grand Rising. Terry Cruz, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, so it's so much that's going on, right? That we fail to encapsulate all of what's going on in society because we're so, they have us so channeled and focused and have blinders on us like we're horses to only pay attention to what's going on in your city, in your state, right? Because we're the type where we like things in a microwave society. We like things delivered to us, right? People love shopping on Amazon. Why? Because it's convenient. Just, the type of order is at your door within hours, sometimes a couple of days, right? But you don't have to go out and shop for it. You don't have to go out and compare prices to see what's more cost effective for you, right? You can read the reviews right there online, what other people are saying about the product, and everything. So it's like it prevents you from going to do the homework you going to do the due diligence in your study, you know, in your research and your discovery of what's going on with that product and stuff like that. So this is the society that we're used to. This is what we're used to having on our plate. Everything, you know, within hand's reach, that we don't even have to leave the house. That's how they're programming us. They're programming us to not to want to leave the house. They'll program you to not even to have to leave your own city and state, because they don't want you going over into these other countries to see, hold on, they said on a map, you know, remember years ago, whenever you were traveling outside of your state, that you had to have a map so you can see where the restrooms were, where the gas stations were, where the places where you could stop and eat at, or the places where you can, if you needed a hotel or lodging, where you can go and see where that's at. So you know how many hours you can drive, you know what I mean? Now they got these GPSs that tell you directly, street by street, you know, 0.8 miles, turn right, right? So you ain't even got to look on the map to see where 0.8 miles at or 2 miles is at on a map, right? That's how we used to travel, by a map. But now, since they got these GPSs, everything is delivered for you. Everything is told for you to do. You know, you are just the operating system. They plug you into the matrix, give you a trajectory of where you need to be at what time, and you just plug it into your GPS. You say, oh, we'll be there in 8 hours. Right? You don't know. You don't really get to enjoy stopping somewhere, communicating with people, being able to really smell the fresh air and the grass, and you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times we don't do that because we're so focused on getting to the destination that, you know, we will drink less water, we will eat less food, we will do whatever we have to do to stop less, you know, and an 8-hour trip, if you could stop one time just to gas up, that, you know, that's what some people do. Raise a hand of anyone in here that's like that. If you got an 8-hour trip, you're looking maybe to gas up one time, maybe to stop one time to eat, and that's it. Right? So you really don't get a chance to really enjoy the journey, is what I'm saying. Right? I'm painting this picture so you'll be able to see a lot of things that we miss because we don't pay attention to how our life is developing. And whenever we do take a journey, we take a road trip somewhere, you really don't get to enjoy the road trip like you should, because you're so focused on getting to the destination instead of allowing the journey to be you know, encompassing in what you're supposed to be learning from this road trip. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be having discussions in the car, not supposed to be, you know, your children not supposed to be in the phone, or the other person that's not driving is not supposed to be on the phone or on social media. Like, you're supposed to be having real life conversations, right? Conversations about what you're seeing on the road and stuff like that. Being able to stop the car and just really enjoy the scenery, right? If you're passing a nice mountain scenery or a nice forest scenery that you don't usually get to see, you know, you want to stop, you want to enjoy that. You want to get out and smell that, you know, what is the atmosphere like? What does it smell like? What's the ambiance of this journey, right? We don't get to enjoy the journey anymore because we're so concerned with getting to the destination. Yusuf said, Terry Crews. I've heard that so many times, right? But yeah, so that's the thing. When we have our own insight, right? on the world and the way that we see the world and what's supposed to be going on in the world. The blueprint for your God body, or the blueprint for your God power, right, is already, it's like a GPS. It's already inside your intelligence. It's already inside. It's already programmed in you, not by AI, not by artificial intelligence, not by the way that they actually program you from watching TV, from maybe going to school, from going to work, from being in the matrix. But the blueprint of your God power is within your pineal gland. It's within your third eye. It's within your genetics of your makeup, your DNA, your DEA, your God body. All you have to do is put on the power of your God body. But they've taught us for so long that thinking to focus and think outside of yourself, to pray outside of yourself, to God, right? To Jesus, to Buddha, to any of the deities or whatever, or any of the angels and archangels. Pray outside of yourself. That we are not focused on who we are, that we're not focused on the God power that we have. That in actuality, when you focus within, when you go within, when you meditate, when you pray inside of yourself, that message will get to where you're trying to send it to a lot quicker, right? The universe and the particles of the world is open and willing to listen, willing to hear what you have to say a lot faster, right? Because the concept of thought that you're trying to send outside of yourself is the same concept that's within you. Your protons, your neutrons, your electrons, right? The same entity is going into the blood, going into the DNA. Instead of channeling outside, how about this? Channel inside. Channel inside. You have to channel inside of the pineal gland. Channel inside of the blood, the DEA, the DNA. That's how you connect to your ancestors. That's how you connect to your spirit guides, your archangels, the deities, the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? The feminine energy that you have within yourself, the masculine energy that you have within yourself, right? Check this shirt out. I want y'all to see this. Let's put this to the side. How you guys like my crystal, by the way, right? It's wrapped in black wire as well as copper, right? But this is a clear quartz crystal. Anyway, this is what I want you guys to focus on. You see that eye? The eye represents your third eye. It's supposed to be the all-seeing eye of the God power, of the Most High creative force that sees all things, knows all things, omnipresent, omnipotent, omnipotent, can see all things at all places at all times, right? This right here is representing your wings, right? The positive and the negative aspect of yourself or yourselves, right? Not just of you as one individual, but you are a plural God body. You are multiple entities and beings, right? So what these wings represent are the different degrees of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, overstanding, understanding that you're supposed to be gaining along your journey to give you your wings, right? Your wings to overcome, your wings to ascend, your wings even to descend should you need to descend, right? But these are your spiritual wings. A lot of us don't even realize that we are the angels that our ancestors were praying for hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. We are an intercessory of the aspect of what they were praying for outside of themselves. We are the ancestors incarnated, right? The crown chakra, right? You see this caduceus, the snake that's coiling up and ascending up. Look at where they're going. They're going to the third eye. This is the crown chakra. This is the third eye, right? So you got a masculine energy rising up and you got a feminine energy rising up. Why? You don't see one above the other. You see that they are balanced as they coil up and ascend up the chakras till they get to the third eye, till they get to your first eye, right? That's the masculine and feminine energy. What we're supposed to be balanced. And that's the whole thing. You receive your God power when you balance your energies, the masculine and the feminine energies, no matter whether you are born male, born female, born hermaphrodite. When you balance those energies, then you open up more access to your God power, your intuition, which turns on the psychic powers. Right? So you want to know how you become more empathic, how you become more psychic. That's the scientific formula right here, and it's encoded already within you. Right? And what does that mean? That means that you have to do what? You have to do shadow work. Because some of us, we are preventing ourselves from accepting and getting into that God power because one, most of us are praying outside of ourselves. Two, most of us don't believe in ourselves, right? That we say who we are. We'll study it, we'll read it in a book, we'll hear it on the audio tape. Like, yeah, that's who I am. I'm a god. I'm a goddess. But you really don't believe that. Why? Because you're really not doing the work in order to manifest it, in order to have it to show up when you most need it. Where was I at? 3? You really have to internalize and process the energy, your emotions, how you feel, how others treated you, whether it was presently or in the past, right? And you have to face it. You have to deal with it. You have to forgive yourself. Not only forgive yourself, but forgive them. But you'll say, why do I need to forgive them? They hurt me. They did this. They did that. You're not forgiving them for them. You're forgiving them for yourself so you can move on. Because if you never forgive them, you can't move on. You can't balance these energies. You can't obtain and get all of the things that was promised for you because you're not willing to meet spirit halfway. You're not willing to do the job that you need to do in order to gain access to have your path and your road clear. So that blessing, so whatever that blessing may be to you, whether it's spiritual power, whether it's psychic power, whether it's financial gain, financial prosperity. And a lot of people may say, well, they may not want that financial prosperity because it's such a burden. Because once you get it, not only do you lose family and some friends because of jealousy and whatever, but this is what is on your path to receive. And the best thing about gaining financial prosperity is reciprocity, meaning that because you was open to receiving it,